great day God gave us yesterday, second week of our campaign. Many people saved and baptized. Good to have some of my own converts in church, and I'm getting baptized as well. That's always exciting. And just a great attendance, full auditorium. And I'm just excited to see buses did decent yesterday. And so excited about all of that and looking forward now as we get going this next coming Sunday, middle week of our campaign. Looking forward to a good push on that and just to see what God can do here at Maranatha Baptist Church and wherever you are. I hope that you're having a good day. Well, today I want to talk to you from Luke 1:34 when it says, "Then said Mary unto the angel," here it is, "How shall this be, seeing I know not a man?" Mary had received the news that she would conceive and bring forth a son, which would be the Christ child. Now, this news troubled Mary, and it should have, because she was a virgin. Mary had known no man. She was a virgin. She did not understand how a virgin could conceive. Now, this consternation caused her to ask, "How shall this be, seeing I know not a man?" The angel answered, "The Holy Ghost shall come upon thee, and the power of the highest shall overshadow thee. Therefore also that holy thing which shall be born of thee shall be called the Son of God." The angel continued by saying, "For with God nothing shall be impossible." You see, the angel was saying the impossibility is always accomplished through the power of the Holy Ghost. Now, we often look at that which is impossible and we ask, how shall this be? How shall it be that our church building can be filled with people? How shall it be that our Sunday school class can grow to overflowing? How shall it be that our bus is filled to capacity with adults and children coming to church? How shall it be that a hardened sinner can be saved? The problem with our question is we're looking at the impossible through a human ability mindset instead of looking at the impossible through God's omnipotence. You see, when you look at the impossible through God's power is when you'll see that all things are possible. It is not that God can't do the impossible. It is that God's people are not attempting the impossible. If we pursued the impossible instead of asking how something can be, we would know what God could do with the impossible because we will have seen him do it many a time. You see, the impossible will never be accomplished without the power of the Holy Ghost falling in one's life. You can attempt the impossible all day long, my friend, but if you don't get God's power on your life, you'll never see the impossible become reality. Mary's impossible became a reality only after the Holy Ghost came upon her. Throughout the scriptures, it was when the Holy Ghost fell upon a person that God made the impossible happen. I think of Samson, that even though he was a backslidden and worldly man, when the power of the Holy Ghost fell upon him, even this backslidden worldly man saw God do the impossible through him. You see, when God's power fell on Saul was when the impossible of defeating a great army was accomplished. It was when the power of the Holy Ghost fell upon the early church that they saw the impossible of 3,000 souls saved and baptized in one service. Now, it is not that God cannot do the impossible today, but the impossible does not happen because so few get God's power on their lives. Now, what is your this in how shall this be? Moses wondered how could God use him because of his past and the inability to speak publicly. But God showed him that when his power falls on an individual, the impossible becomes possible. Your impossible is only as far away as it takes for you to get God's power on your life. Now, I ask you, what is your impossible today, my friend? Your impossible is as big as your faith in God. If you have little faith in God's ability, then your impossible is very small. But if your faith in God's ability is limitless, your impossible becomes very possible. The key is that you must get God's power on your life before the impossible becomes possible. Your impossible stays impossible until you get God's power on your life. Now I ask you, what is your impossible? Oh, my friend, we live in days that people say it can't be done. There has to be somebody who believes it can be done. Do you believe, bus captain, that you can fill your bus route? Hey, Sunday school teacher, do you believe that you can fill your Sunday school class? Hey, soul winner, do you believe that God could use you to lead people to Christ and get them to church and down the aisle and become fruit that remains? Do you believe that? Hey, pastor, are you looking at your church and you're saying, well, this is impossible, I can't fill it? Well, you're right. With that attitude, you're absolutely not going to fill it. Hey, those who've fallen in sin, let me ask you a question. Do you think it's impossible for God to use you again? Do you not have any vision for yourself? Do you not have a vision what God can do with broken people? Oh, my friend, oh, how I wish I could get people to believe it's not about what we can do. It's about what God can do. So stop looking at how can this be? Stop looking at your this through what you can do and what man can do, and look at it through God's power. And when you realize with God's power on my life, on our lives, is when God can make the impossible very possible. And it's when he does the greatest works. I challenge you today. Stop thinking it's impossible, but get God's power. Pray, work hard, and you'll see God do something mighty through you. Well, I hope this is a challenge to you today. Now, my friend, hey, let's remember this week, be good to everyone. Everyone's having a tough time. Have a great